Hey folks, today is Friday, March 30th, 2018. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, and we gotta talk about some video game news and stuff going on this week. It's been a weird week. The first thing I want to talk about is kind of a dumb topic, but it's still important to a lot of people. Todd Howard has spoken about the Elder Scrolls 6 again. Yes, he has acknowledged it. Yes, it seems like it's actually real. And this time it was actually in pretty funny, dumb context. I just wanted to share this with you guys. This is actually through reporting of Jason Schreier, who went through a podcast interview with Todd Howard, who spoke about what it is like to raise children while he makes games, while his kids also play those games. It's actually a pretty interesting listen, and he went in depth with how he introduced his son to Skyrim, and how his son became obsessed, and now he's an Elder Scrolls fan, and now he asks him about Elder Scrolls 6, and Todd Howard said he does not tell him a single thing. Damn. That's rough.
Beat the shit out of my dad if he was like that.
You would beat up your dad if you can't beat up your dad. I think Todd Howard is a good dad, okay? He's not like Goku. He's not like Heihachi. He just doesn't want to give his son any information about the Elder Scrolls 6 because he said that his son could accidentally say something about it. Like I said, there's not much to take from this story other than that it's a funny little anecdote I just figured we'd share with you guys. Also, I guess it is good that Todd Howard is talking about the Elder Scrolls 6, so it's out there somewhere. I know like there's been conflicting things that Bethesda has said about it in the past, but this is nice to hear. But moving on to something very current, let's talk about Sea of Thieves for a second. It's been a very mixed response since the game has released, but some people have been playing it like crazy and giving it everything they've got. And one of those people is a famous Twitch streamer by the name of Prodigy, who has now reached the coveted pirate legend status. This is essentially when you max out all three factions in the quests within those, and you get the rank. And it's been a race to see who would get it first because it's like a big deal in the game because you get access to a different little area within the bar sections. And now from what we've seen, since people have been working towards this and thinking that this would be like the Willy Wonka moment where you get the golden ticket and you get access to all this new stuff, well, you do get access to new cosmetic items from a new vendor in this pirate lord hideaway, but you really just get access to more missions that are essentially longer versions of the missions that you've been grinding through previous. Some people might want that, but it seems like a lot of people out there in the Sea of Thieves community are kind of disappointed, but more so they're disappointed with the fact that Prodigy got the first pirate legend status because the first person will be somewhat immortalized in the game, and people are arguing that Prodigy used his followers and essentially got the status on the backs of other people who were boosting him by essentially giving up their treasure chest and helping prop him up by that. Now, I'm sure his fans are very satisfied that they helped get him to that rank, but other Sea of Thieves players seem to have wanted someone to get it the more traditional route like a regular everyday player would. This is some spicy stuff. I don't really know what Rare is going to do because Rare is apparently going to give this person like a memorial, and a lot of people are against that. I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm still just curious to see what they do with this game. At this point, it has a lot of things that people are unhappy about. I think the potential is there because it can be so fun at its core. But the whole controversy with Prodigy getting it aside, if that's what the whole pirate legend thing is, that's a little bit of a bummer. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see what they add. But speaking of adding things, it looks like No Man's Sky is making a return. Not only is it going to be getting a big update tease that is going to be releasing soon, similar to last year's update that essentially changed a lot of elements of the game, it's also getting an Xbox One version finally. This is apparently dropping this summer, so if you've been wanting to get your hands on the game, I guess now you can. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not really going to talk a lot of shit about this game because I know there are some people out here that really like it, but
What?
Not only that, but speaking of PS4 games that are making their way over to Xbox, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is dropping on Xbox in April, and I'm really excited about that just because it was one of my favorite games last year. So, if you are a PlayStation player, awesome, but maybe if you didn't have a chance to play it on Xbox, now you got a shot, and I really think you should check it out. That's not like an endorsement or anything, I just really like the game. Also, in the second quarter of this year, THQ Nordic is re-releasing Red Faction Guerrilla, which is also really exciting. It's going to be for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and that was a really good game. It was a really underrated game. It's a very different Red Faction game if you only played the original ones, but it's so much freaking fun. It's gonna have redone graphics, better textures, new lighting and stuff like that, so if you didn't get your hands on it then, now you got another shot. That's kind of the theme of this week's videos. That seems to be like all the news news really was, because also, if you missed it, Doom is getting a 4K update for PS4 Pro and Xbox One X. If that is your type of thing, the game does do dynamic resolution scaling, but now it can reach 4K. And I guess whether you have a 4K TV or not, it's just nice to see developers support the games a year after release. I always like that. Props. But moving on from remasters and re-releases, you know, every week we like to just find weird video game stuff on the internet and share it with you guys. And this week we have this. This is courtesy of both Unilad and Eurogamer, and it's fantastic stuff. There's a new Jurassic Park Builder game coming out, but Jeff Goldblum was on site to give interviews, so people made him do the weirdest shit, and it's so good.
Did you say he or she? He?
He.
You think it's a he?
It is a he, yeah.
Oh, it is?
Unilad took him in an interview and basically just had him read famous video game quotes, and it's so good.
Say, I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda.
If you want to check those out, like everything we talk about every week, it's linked in the description down below. But moving on to some more serious news, I thought this was freaking dead. Lindsay Lohan and Grand Theft Auto 5 are in court once again, and it looks like a New York court has finally thrown this case out for good. If you guys haven't been following this, 4 years ago, this has been going on for 4 years, Lindsay Lohan sued Take-Two Interactive and Rockstar Games for reportedly using her likeness in Grand Theft Auto 5. You know, the girl in the red bikini with the peace sign. Apparently there's a similarity there. I never saw it. Most people never saw it, especially in the sense that the game doesn't even use that likeness to parody Lindsay Lohan at all. It's a completely disconnected thing. She fought it in courts because her and her lawyers were convinced that they were using her likeness without her permission. I always just thought that character looked way more like Kate Upton, but that's just me.
Holy shit. That is straight up Kate Upton.
It's literally, yeah, Kate Upton should be taking them to court, honestly. And in other news, the developers behind Outlast 2, Red Barrels, has announced 2 things about Outlast 2 in terms of updates. Number 1, it's getting a story mode, which is essentially updating the game, making it easier so you can kind of experience the scares and experience the game without all of the stress and difficulty of the stealth mechanics and stuff like that. So if you're a baby, you could play it like this.
Get fucked.
Sorry, no, I would play it like that.
What game?
Yeah.
Outlast 2. Outlast 2 was really annoying and stressful to play through. Not only that, Red Barrels did announce that the PC version will soon be updated, and they are going to patch in things that they had to previously cut from versions of the game, because places like in Australia would essentially give the game an adults-only rating, or whatever the equivalent is over there, because some stuff was too edgy. So Red Barrels ended up having to cut that stuff to get the game rated down to M, but now they're throwing it back in. Still, it's essentially making the game the equivalent of like adults only. So I'm gonna check it out. Maybe we'll see more beheadings. Not that I want to see that. I'm just saying, like, you know, who knows? There's gonna be some messed up stuff. I'm very curious to see what they're actually gonna add into it, because Outlast 2 already was kind of pushing it to the limit. So I'm curious, just as like a messed up person. But in some nicer, happier news, it looks like Life is Strange is getting a comic book adaptation. This is by Titan, the people behind the comics published for Bloodborne and Wolfenstein, which I didn't even actually know that Wolfenstein had a comic, but that's kind of awesome. We don't really have any other information about it right now, other than that it's a return to Arcadia Bay, and it's going to cover Chloe and Max. So that's something to look forward to if you're a fan of those games. And in some other news, last week we talked about God of War and all the hands-on previews and impressions people had of the game with more info and stuff. But if you're clamoring for any more bits of info, we have a little bit of an idea of how the actual world is designed and the structure. Doesn't seem like it's quite open world, doesn't seem like it's quite linear. This was taken from a Resetera user who basically went through what the creative director said about the game in a recent podcast interview, and apparently they took cues from Bloodborne in terms of design, in terms of intertwining paths and little hub area sections, and I'm all about that, because From Software level design is awesome. That's part of what makes those games so great. So if God of War is going for something like that, I'm totally down. Not only that, just as some housekeeping, next weekend is PAX East 2018 in Boston. If you are going, we're going to be there. We're going to be hanging out 2 o'clock on Saturday at the Discord booth. We're going to be hanging out over there if you want to come out and say hi. Hopefully we'll have stickers. They should show up in the mail in time.
Come on down, 2 o'clock, Discord boost. You want your fucking ass kicked.
Also, once again, we are doing a glitch video. A lot of you guys have hit me up on Twitter asking if we were going to do a video reacting to Far Cry 5 glitches. So, yes, we are. Thanks for hitting me up. There's going to be a link in the description. It's like a form. If you capture any Far Cry 5 glitches during your playthrough, submit it to that link, and then we'll pick the best and react to them in a video. Good luck. Hopefully maybe you get get featured, but now we got to move on to that console giveaway we do every single week. You know how this goes by now. There's a link in the description below. You click it to sign up. You enter once, then you're entered for good, and then every single week we go in and randomly choose one person to win a free console of their choice. And this week's winner is going to be... see, kept you waiting there, huh? It's going to be this person right here. So be sure to keep an eye on your inbox, your spam box, stuff like that, because Tom's going to reach out to you to figure out how we can send you your console. But that's it this week. Let's talk about the stuff. It's a little bit of a light news week, but I want to know what you guys are thinking on some of this stuff. First of all, how do you want God of War to play in terms of level design? Do you want it to be open world? I don't think I do. I think I'm good on open world stuff right now. But really, what do you think the deal is with Elder Scrolls 6? Do you think we're actually going to see it anytime soon? Because we've heard all different things. I don't think Bethesda's going to announce it at E3 this year, but I would like to see that. And of all the stuff, like the updates and remasters I announced this week that we just kind of ran through, which are you looking forward to the most? Let's talk about anything video games down there in the comments. I'll be down there talking to you guys as much as possible. But as usual, you can find me on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Jake Baldino, and youtube.com/becausevideogames. I just put up a longer Far Cry video over there. But as always, thank you guys so much for coming around here, clicking the like button. We really appreciate it. Subscribing is a good idea because we put out stuff like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Pizza's on me. We're gonna go eat pizza. What are we eating? What are we eating?